And tonight it's our pleasure to honor two of them. And it's a couple, and that is Paul and Anke Volcker. Last week, Paul was interviewed by the New York Times. Some of you may have seen it. His quote, "We're in a hell of a mess in every direction," unquote. So you leave it to Paul to call it like he sees it. He's been an important mentor and friend for probably 25 years. He's smart, he has awesome integrity, he's got a sense of justice, perseverance, and courage, and that's set the bar for all of us. And it's too bad he can't be here, because he'd love to look around this room. He'd love to see so many diverse types of people coming together around a common mission. And we got folks here from Federal Reserve leaders to Isles Youth Institute graduates and lots in between. And that keeps us hopeful, and Lord knows we need reasons to be hopeful.
Now, as Marty indicated, when I agreed to come here to honor Paul, I thought Paul would be here. And I was relishing the thought of embarrassing him and seeing him blush. I've seen this on other occasions when the praise gets overly effusive in his mind, although it's not in fact overly effusive. You can sort of see that 6'7" frame shrink an inch or two as he was slightly embarrassed to hear all the wonderful things whoever was saying it about him, and I thought that was my role tonight, but we will do it in his absence anyway, so he can be blushing in abstention. Quite simply, Paul Volcker is one of the greatest living Americans, period. Any walk of life, any place. That's quite an honor, and it's true, and I feel honored to be asked to come here to honor him. We all know that as chairman of the Federal Reserve, he was the man, with help from his friends, who conquered inflation in the United States. He's famous for that, of course, and will go down in history for that reason. As some of you may know, if any of you have any contact with the Federal Reserve System, the name Paul Volcker sits next to the name God at the Federal Reserve. There's nobody in between. That's his stature inside the Federal Reserve System, and I might say generically in the world. But I want to take a few minutes to tell you some things you may not know about Paul. He's a very well-known persona. People know about his service in the Treasury and the Federal Reserve. Here are a few things you may not know. In 1996, he was asked to become, and of course he agreed, being a sucker for a good cause, to become chair of the independent committee of eminent persons charged with looking into the dormant accounts sitting in Swiss banks of Jewish Holocaust victims. This is not a job that made you popular in Switzerland, I can assure you of that. That group, that committee, recovered $1.25 billion for the Holocaust victims. In 2007, he was asked, and again, of course, agreed, to chair the independent panel review of the World Bank's Department of Institutional Integrity. The World Bank itself was worried that their institutional integrity is not what it should be. So who do you ask to chair the panel? The person with the most integrity in the entire world, Paul Volcker. In the year 2010, President Barack Obama was looking to add something to a piece of legislation that was being kicked around in the Congress that became eventually the Dodd-Frank Act, the big financial regulation bill that passed in 2010. He named it the Volcker Rule in order to get vicariously the independence, integrity, and eminence of the man named Volcker. I'm told, I thought I would ask him tonight actually, that Paul was actually surprised when Obama popped out the phrase, the Volcker Rule. It's ever since has been called Volcker. In 2013, as maybe more of you do know, Paul founded the Volcker Alliance with the purpose of improving the profession, and this was important to him, the profession of public service. We have a lot of professions, and Paul was worried that public service itself was not being considered professional and given the professional respect that it deserved and that he exemplified. Oh, and there's one more thing that you probably don't know. I feel confident that nobody knows this, not even Marty. You'll correct me if I'm wrong. There is actually a rock band named after him. Did you know that? He's shaking his head. He knew that. Yes, it's called Volcker. I looked at their website on Thursday, and the first song on their latest album, now when I say their latest album, they don't have that many albums. But the first song of their latest album is called Care. Care. Over his long and distinguished career, Paul Volcker has cared about many things. Low inflation, we know, but much more importantly, truth and justice and integrity and public service. Many of us are in this room today, certainly including myself, because we care about him. Let's have a round of applause for Paul Volcker.
My name is Scott McVeigh, class of 1955. Mr. Volcker, I simply want to add my voice to the long chorus of people who have sung your praises and thank you for the wholehearted support of Bill 1. The iconic structure is a lead structure. Iconic structure that is going to be the focal point of aspirations, hopes, and dreams for the future of Lyles and the city of Trenton. We could not be more content nor more grateful, and I'm so eager to get a copy of your new book. I understand it's a bestseller right out of the box.
Hi, Mr. and Mrs. Volcker. My name is John Hart. I'm the Chief Operating Officer here at Isles. And I just wanted to thank you for the indelible mark that you've made on this organization and how much help over the years that you've given to us, the guidance that you've given to our CEO, Marty Johnson, and the commitment that you've made to us. It's been really, really special. It's helped us in so many different ways. You know, at the Fall Fest, I had the pleasure of doing the introduction speech. And in that speech, I listed our accomplishments for the year. And I really wish that you were there to hear it, but I wanted to let you know how much everyone loved what we've done and we're impressed with what we've done. And I wanted to let you know, and your wife know, that without you, many of those accomplishments would not be possible. And so from the bottom of my heart, for the organization that I work and love, just wanted to say thank you for what you've meant to us.